Hi, this is Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Welcome to my channel. This is part 4 of a series on choosing patterns for your body type. Parts 1, 2, and 3 were last week. The first part we chatted about how we need to tell ourselves the truth and finding that one trusted person to help you discover what your strengths are, what your best features are. On day 2, we talked about how to audition outfits on mybodymodel.com, Croaky, or we've also presented a few other ways of being able to accurately depict your body on paper so that you could draw the styles on there and decide whether or not they would work for you. And number 3, we were identifying then the patterns that would be really nice on their body type. So we went through the Love Notions catalog and kind of talked about what body types each pattern would look best on. But there was something missing, and I noticed it actually watching it back, and I think at least a few people asked questions about it. And so I decided what we really need was a discussion of scale and proportion. So I'm going to talk about that a bit today and how it relates to fashion and how it can make such a huge difference. But before I do that, I want to just say welcome to the family, to all the subscribers who've recently joined on. If you like this video and would like to see more, go ahead and give that thumbs up and click that subscribe button down below. So to get right to it, let's talk about what scale and proportion are. So scale is a proportion, actually, between the two sets of dimensions. So in other words, it's the scale between two parts. So you might have a drawing that's a replica, but it's smaller. Or you might have a house that's like a build out of Legos, and then if you were to build it to scale, it would be gigantic. So the scale is just comparing sort of two proportions, and that's going to come into play in a number of different ways, but just to understand the differences. So the definition of proportion is the relationship of one part to the other with respect to magnitude, quantity, or degree. So it might be whether or not a certain top goes with a certain pants. How do they relate to each other? What do they do to the sum total of your outfit? So in taking all this into account, we can kind of I'm not talking about rules. I'm just talking about understanding our body proportions and how one thing relates to the other. So first of all, I wanted to just talk about scale. As I said, it's the proportion between two sets of dimensions. So it's basically if something's at scale. In other words, I might take this tape measure, and if I want to measure an ant, this is going to be way different. So that is scale. So if you're a really teeny tiny person and you're wearing a gigantic print, that might be something that, I don't know, you'd have to explore, but I'm guessing that probably would not be the best choice for a teeny tiny person. So that's exactly what I mean when I'm talking about scale. Another example of that might be like a big oversized shirt over oversized pants. How does that work as far as scale goes? It all comes into play here, whether you're tall or you're short, whether you're large or you're small. For example, a huge ball gown may just swallow up a really tiny woman. That's just one example. Large prints might look better on someone who's a little bit larger. And I've actually heard the opposite my whole life, but if you think about it, when you put on a little ditzy floral and you're a large person, it's not the most flattering, really. I mean, it can be really pretty, and if it's someone's favorite, never stop your favorite because of what somebody says. If you love it, you wear it. But it's just having things scaled to the person and to the other things you're wearing. For example, you could wear a small ditzy floral if you were like, I'm kind of a larger, I'm kind of a mix because I'm short in stature, but I'm larger as far as my size goes. And if I wore a ditzy floral though, it might be fine because from 6 feet away, it gives the feeling that it's a solid. So, you know, it just depends on, you know, where things are placed and, you know, how things relate to how the entirety of the outfit looks. So just to understand that about scale, I'm going to circle back to this after we talk about proportion just a little bit. So proportion is answers questions like, how long should the dress be? Should it be short? Should it be midi? Should it be long? How long should my top be? And how does that relate to what pants I'm wearing? How long should my top be for these pants? A longer top might look better with a skinny pant. So you just kind of go back and forth. I mean, it just depends on, you know, then again, you take that and you compare it to the scale. So, and I don't mean weight scale, I mean the scale of the proportion. So if you are short and wide, like me, then you might not want to wear a wide leg pant and a long top. Because what is that going to do? It's going to give the wrong proportions. It's just going to hang, you know, it's just going to make me wider. It's not going to help my proportions. So there is something in nature and in architecture and in mathematics and photography and all kinds of different places in the universe called the golden proportion. Found in nature, it's found in, you know, all kinds of different architecture. It was in the Parthenon, all kinds of different places, and it basically is the rule of thirds. If you're familiar with photography, it appears there as well. It is the ratio of 1 to 1.618 technically, okay? But it's roughly 2 to 3. So if you look at a human face, most of the time, from the top of your head to your eyes is 1/3, and from the eyes to the bottom of your chin is 2/3. When you look at your body shape, from your shoulders to your waistline is 2/3, and from the waistline to your hips is 1/3. From your neck to your waist is 1/3, and from your waist to the bottom of the bottom of your feet is 2/3. So it's just pleasing. It's a pleasing ratio to look at. It's also a strong ratio when it comes to building. Engineers use it in their design. And, you know, I talked to my husband about this a little bit yesterday, and he verified for me that much of engineering has this same ratio. It was also in photography. When I was a small girl, my dad, you know, being a professional photographer before I was, he taught me the rule of thirds with stick figures. Oh no, honey, don't draw the little man in the middle. You want to draw it over here. See, you make a line, divide your paper into 3, and then you want to put him right here on the second line. So it's that kind of thing. It's in art. It appears in nature. It has to do with, and it is very interesting, and it's just like so deep I can't even explain it all to you, but it's even in the Fibonacci sequence in mathematics. So it is Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. It's all in there. So when you just look, it's really, really amazing. And the coolest one is that when God told Noah the dimensions of the ark, it also incorporated the golden proportion. So it's just amazing, and it's just kind of a perfect design ratio. So when we look at our bodies and how they really are, which we are imperfect because we live in an imperfect world. So when we look at our bodies and we don't have that perfect ratio from shoulder to waist, 1/3, waist to the floor, 2/3, you might then want to dress to make it more appear that you have that golden proportion, which is why our eyes I have short legs. I really need to elongate my legs in what I'd wear. So a shorter top is going to make my legs look a lot longer. Or vice versa. If I wear a long top, if I wear skinny jeans with it, it's going to make my legs appear longer than if I wore wide leg pants with it. I have some drawings here that I was playing with. And first I just drew myself with a knee-length skirt. Okay, so look at that knee-length skirt, and it kind of is not bad. It's pleasant. It's a good length for me. Now let's take that skirt and put it midi length. Okay, so now if you look at that midi length skirt, you can see where it looks almost like I have no legs. So it's almost, and it's because that throws that proportion. You cannot see that 2 to 3 proportion at all. So what you want to do is either elongate that whole thing or show enough leg that it would appear longer. So if I put on a pair of wide leg pants that go to the floor, that appears almost like a maxi skirt. Now that can be elongating, but only if I wear a shorter top. So I hope that helps, just a rough understanding of it. If you want to understand the golden proportion more, there's a little video, and it's one I watched with my kids when we were homeschooling, and I actually watched it again the other day just because I wanted to make sure it was still available out there. Go to YouTube and search for Donald in Mathmagic Land, and this whole video talks about where the golden proportion is in nature and everything. It's really, really cool. And it's why when we look at a certain piece of art, it's why we know it looks good. We don't know why. And and of course, there's going to be somebody who's going to say, but I don't like it. And you know what? It's okay to break the rules. These are guidelines, they're not rules. So if I'm saying that, you should not wear a midi skirt because your legs are short, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying wear what you love. But here is an understanding, maybe, of why you will love one thing over another. It just kind of helps narrow our selections when we're looking at patterns, even when we're looking at ready to wear. A good exercise to do is to go to the mall when we can. Again, obviously nobody's going to go try on clothes right now. It would be not smart even if you could. So when you can later, go and try on some different lengths. And don't trust the mirror necessarily. Snap a picture so that you can look at it later. Or take a friend with you and let them snap a picture of all different lengths, all different volumes, volume on the bottom, volume on the top, and just see. And I bet you're going to circle right back to what kind of helps create the illusion of that perfect proportion. So when you hear designers say the proportion's off, that's exactly what they mean. I don't know if you watch Project Runway, lots of times they'll say, well, the proportion is off. Well, that is exactly what they're talking about. So circling back to scale, you can take all that into consideration when you think about, what is my stature? Am I tall? Am I short? Am I wide? Am I and all those things. And just, this is objective. It's not anything that, it's not, this is bad, this body type's bad, that's nothing like that. It's just helping you understand why you like a certain thing on your body more than another. So then you can shop with a little bit more discrimination, knowing what looks good on you, and not only what looks good, but why. Now, what I'm really talking about is just enhancing our best features. And hopefully this helps you understand why certain things look better on you. And you know, there's those fashion police type rules. Just throw those out the window, because all that matters is how it makes you look and feel. And feel is most important. So if there's something that, you know, you look in the mirror and you know it looks really great on you, you just don't know why. It really probably boils down to proportion and scale. So that's what I wanted to just talk about a little bit, because we kind of touched on it, but we never really delved into it. And again, using scale and proportion is a great way to think and audition certain patterns. And when you audition something, you're trying it out. So how do we do that? Well, you can go try clothes on at the mall. You can get your croquis and, you know, audition and things by drawing them, which is what I really think is great, because it's truly you. If you go back to the second video, I talked about my body model. I also talked about the fact that you can put on a swimsuit or underwear or something, just you, and just photograph yourself against some kind of background that'll give you a little bit of contrast. Print that out on your printer and trace it, and you have a croquis. So you don't have to spend a lot of money if you don't have it. But honestly, my body model is only $30, so I would rather spend the $30 myself. But you know, if you don't want to, you certainly don't need to do that. But even just taking a picture of yourself and that already exists and just tracing around it, just to get your general outline, so you can sort of, it's a way of telling yourself the truth. Because honestly, when I got my croquis at first, I didn't think it really looked like me. But then after I drew an outfit on it, made the outfit, and then took a picture side by side, I was able to see that it really is pretty much right on. So it's a really, really trustworthy way of sort of auditioning outfits. So anyway, above it all of this is really subjective, and it's in the eyes of the beholder. If you have an outfit that you think breaks all these principles, but you love it, don't leave that outfit out. You love it, and you love it for a reason. And maybe it's a reason we just haven't thought of. So definitely, you know, don't throw those favorites out. Ask a trusted friend, like I said. But if it makes you feel good, you wear it, because that's what's the most important. Because you're going to feel, if you feel confident, you can do anything. So that is just, to wrap up this series, I just wanted to say a few words about that. So just in wrapping it all up, the part one was about identifying your best features and using different methods. You can ask a trusted friend. We talked about all of that. Video 2 was on auditioning outfits using mybodymodel.com and or another method of getting a croquis that is true to you, and just kind of how you go about that. I went through how I drew on my croquis. There's a whole example there. That's in video 2. Video 3 is identifying patterns that enhance your body type, and we went through the whole Love Notions catalog and compared it, and that's video number 3, and this is video number 4 on scale and proportion. So all of these are in a playlist on my channel, so that you can watch one right after the other if you need to refer back to it. So I hope this series has helped you. I've had a lot of positive feedback. I'd love to do more things like this. So as we all discover, we'll all learn together. So on a personal note, it's been a journey for me for the last couple years of being able to accept who I am, instead of just who I wanted to be. I would only accept myself if I weighed X, fill in the blank. I would only accept myself if I wore a size blank. You know what, ladies? We are who we are. And I'm not saying, you know what, if you want to lose that weight, you lose that weight because you want to be healthy. Okay? Not because you know what, when you get there, it's just going to be another thing you don't like about yourself that'll come into play. You need to accept yourself and yes, lose the weight, and be healthy. But for appearance sake, it's so fleeting. And the reasons to keep it off, then I've lost weight in my life, and I've kept off. This last time, I've kept off quite a bit of it. But reasons that you don't gain it back are usually deeper than how you look. So being an active person, being healthy, being around for your children and your grandchildren, those are the reasons if you want to lose weight or gain weight. But appearance is just fleeting. So just accept what you have. You have beautiful features. I don't care what size you are. I don't care how small you are, how tall you are, how wide you are. You have incredibly beautiful features, and you just have to find them and play off your best features. So that's my pep talk. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been a little bit of self-discovery for me as well, and I hope it has helped you. Have a wonderful day, and happy sewing.